And welcome to the Soul House Yoga Retreat YouTube channel. Soul House Yoga Retreat, by the way, is in Northern Maine, and we've been offering small, intimate yoga retreats since 1997, before there were so many choices out there. So we are just letting you know where we're located in a beautiful, quiet part of the beautiful state of Maine. And today what I'd like to work on is hip exercises in yoga for people that have moderately open hips. So I think I will call this the intermediate hip series. So if you have tight hips, please go to one of our simpler things for the hips. And if your hips are pretty open and you want to challenge them and work with that, we're going to do a short, fun thing today for that. So what I would say is this would be a good thing to do if you're already warmed up. Perhaps you've already done some sun salutes or you've already done a yoga practice and you just want to work a little bit more on your hips. I personally have just finished my strong yoga practice, so this is a good time for me to show you a few things to work on. And you'll see in the way I do them that it's not about perfection, but it's about just seeing how far you can go. And one thing that tells you how far you can go often in your yoga when you're working your hips is your knees. If your knees start to feel that they are hurting in a way that does not feel good, you are likely pushing the hip stretch too far. Actually, I learned that over 20 years ago when I started Ashtanga Yoga. Series 1 has a lot of hip openers, and in some of those, I was pushing my knees down too much and my hips were not open enough to push the knees down yet. So I got a swollen knee for a summer, it healed. I'd like to help you not do something like that to your body. So I speak from my experience here. And so now we're going to work with hips that are open and can welcome these kind of poses. So we're going to start out on all fours. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to step the right foot forward into lizard pose. So lizard pose, the foot is a little bit to the side. A lot of times students ask, is my knee directly over the ankle? That is the safer alignment. If your knee comes out a little bit, which is mine is now towards my Buddha, I can feel more of a stretch in my hip, but it's not hurting my knee. So again, listen to your body. And then for those that can, they'll come down on their left elbow. And if that works, then they'll come down on their right elbow. And then if you're more flexible, I'm going to lean a little bit to the left so I get my chest to the floor, and I'm going to bring my right arm in front of my right leg. So here I go, and that's going to be as far as I can go. So I'm going to come down, bring my chest to the floor, and my right arm is hooked in front, not behind my right leg. If I can, I'll let my chest lay here, and I will stay here and breathe for a few moments. I'm not going to stay very long so that we can see more of these poses, but you can see that that's taking me really deeply into my hips. You saw that I had to kind of work my way out of it. So after you've stayed in that for a while and breathed into it, you can work your way out of it. I'm going to stay on one side here, which I often do just for the time purposes, and then you would do the other side once you've learned this sequence. So now we're going to take that right leg, which is what I just stretched, the right hip, and I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to take it and cradle my baby. So the idea with cradling the baby is you can either wrap your arms around, this is below my knee with my arm here, not on the knee, and wrapping the foot, or you could take it underneath. Notice I just flexed my right foot, my big right foot, and that will protect the knee. So if your knee feels a little wonky, and this is the one I injured many years ago at my beginning of Ashtanga, and so this is a little wonky. So if I flex it, if I flex my foot, it just helps protect it. Now I want to bring it in as much as possible, lift my chest up, my shoulders down. This is really stretching in here. Good. Now we're going to take that again. You want to breathe into it and keep it there for as long as works for you. Now then you would do your lizard on the left side, you would cradle your baby on the left side, and then we would go ahead and open our legs wide for Kurmasana. Now for some people, all they can do is get here and take their hands on their feet, hands on your feet. For those of us, which we're working with today, hopefully those of you that know your hips are a little more open, you're going to come down and see if you can get your shoulders behind your knees. And then you are going to very gently see what you can do with this. I'm going to start to straighten my legs. They won't get perfectly straight. And my arms are slightly back. And I'm gonna stay here for a while. And again, in my own practice, I generally stay here quite a long time, 1 to 3 minutes, breathing through the nose, so that I can get further into it. And so this is another really good hip opener. Then you're gonna come up. And again, we're gonna work on just one side. So you've already opened this quite a bit. We're gonna take this up and see if we can get the shoulder behind the knee. And then this one, I'm gonna call elephant pose. You're gonna spread your fingers wide just for a moment, and we could go further with this, but we're just gonna go to elephant today. So you're gonna come off the floor with your buttocks, and if you can, bring that foot off the floor as well. So now we're in an arm balance, and again, it requires the open hip. Alrighty, so now we're gonna come down onto our back. Hopefully you can see me on my back. I was just gonna change the camera, but I think you can see me. And I'm going to take my right foot and I'm gonna bend my knee and take it out by my armpit. This is like half of happy baby, right? Half of happy baby. I might straighten that leg a little bit just to see how it's stretching. Bring it back. And now this is progressing towards the grand finale of this little clip, which is gonna be yoga nidrasana. That is leg behind your head. So in order to work towards that, once again, like our prior pose in Kurmasana, you're gonna, in elephant, you're gonna try to get the shoulder behind the knee. And then you're gonna work the arm. Now, if this is working pretty well for you, you can bring your head up and bring the leg behind the head. Now, many people are not gonna get this. This is for those of us who have open hips. My shoulders no longer do a lot of the things they did when I was younger, but my hips, for some reason, are still working pretty well in these strong poses. So the grand finale for this hip stretch would be to get both of our feet behind the head and cross the ankles. Sorry, my dog is barking, but I'm going to keep this going because I'm there. And then press my head into my legs. And if I can, clasp my fingers at my lower back. Right? And there you have yoga nidrasana. And a dog that's reacting to something, I'm not sure what. He's gonna come say hi. Hi, Bo. And then we're gonna take this down very carefully. We're gonna come, and we're going to go ahead and bring the soles of our feet together and gently come forward. I apologize for the dog. I teach a class every Tuesday night online. You're welcome to join us if you like. And I used to get really apologetic when my dog would bark, and really he is his own person and I cannot stop him from barking. So here we are finally at the end of our stretch. Breathing through the nose. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bring the legs together. And give yourself some credit for opening up the hips even more. These are ones you can work with and toward. And again, I think you need some modicum of openness in your hips. And I'm a living testimony to the fact that yoga really does help that. And Ashtanga, even though it hurt my knee for a while, was one of the forms of yoga that really helped me open my hips. The Series 1 practice does have a lot of hip openers. And there's lots of other things that you can do, things like the crow squat, but I don't want to belabor that today. I just wanted to show you some of the more advanced and fun hip poses in yoga. So I hope you have some fun with these, and thank you for tuning in to our Soul House Yoga Tube channel. And the reason it is at Amrita Yoga is because Amrita is my yoga name, and it means nectar. And so nectar is something that the bees make and something that we need to feel the sweetness of life. And so I hope you'll have a very sweet day. Thank you.